Dear Ambassador Lauder, dear Ambassador Koren, dear Dr. Kraus, dear delegates of the World Jewish Congress, dear members of the Jewish communities in Croatia, in the European Union, and the diaspora, dear ministers, dear members of the Parliament, dear ambassadors, I'm honored to be here with you today. Thank you to Ambassador Lauder for the decision to hold the Executive Committee meeting of the World Jewish Congress in Zagreb. Ambassador Lauder, we met during my visit to the General Assembly of the United Nations last September, and we both decided to continue working as partners and to meet again soon. So I'm glad that the WJC meetings in Zagreb gave us this opportunity, and I thank you for the exchange that we had this morning. For us, it is an honor that this meeting of the Executive Committee takes place in such difficult times for the global Jewish community. It means a lot to our government that you have recognized Croatia as an ally and a friend, and that your messages of unity and support for Israel are voiced from Zagreb. Dear friends, the Hamas's terrorist attacks on Israel, which started 10 days ago, have shook Israel and have shook the civilized world. The government of Croatia stands united and in solidarity with Israel, our partner and one of our member countries within the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. We have strongly condemned the terrorist crimes of Hamas, its murder of civilians and the abduction of Israeli civilians, especially women, children, and the elderly, including a Holocaust survivor. We mourn the loss of life and grieve with all Israelis and Jews in the diaspora who have lost the members of their families. And we hope for the swift recovery of the wounded and the release of all hostages. I also welcome the resolute action taken by the member states of the European Union jointly, and we shall be meeting in the video conference just after our lunch today at early afternoon. And we shall, I'm sure, again restate that Israel has the right to security, that Israel has the right to self-defense, and that in that context it will also take into account the respect of international and humanitarian law. Dear WJC members, delegates, and members of the Jewish communities, as we continue to voice our support to Israel, we must equally continue to do so in respect to Jewish communities all around the world. Our fellow citizens of the Jewish faith must continue to feel safe in their homes. Anti-Semitism, wherever it comes from, is unacceptable and must be fought with determination. I want to assure you that the Croatian government will continue to do everything in our capacity to protect our Jewish community and instill a zero-tolerance policy for anti-Semitic behavior and any violence in the public sphere. The rise in anti-Semitism across the world over the last 10 days has again drawn a clear line. The outpouring of support for Israel has never been so unequivocal. On the other hand, the rise in anti-Jewish rhetoric and action online and in the real world has been unprecedented. Within the IRA, whose membership includes 35 member countries, views have changed since the Dubrovnik plenary in mid-June. Member countries who were reluctant to support a statement in favor of the IRA's working definition of anti-Semitism are now among the strongest supporters of Israel and the strongest voices in condemning the merciless attacks of Hamas. It is now clear that the IRA's definition of anti-Semitism is actually a golden standard. This definition will be crucial in the times ahead, as more and more people will bring into question the actions of the State of Israel and equalize these actions with the actions of Jews worldwide. Sadly, the mandate of the IRA, which is Holocaust remembrance, countering Holocaust denial and distortion, and combating anti-Semitism, will also have to consider how to monitor anti-Jewish terrorism. Dear friends, also allow me to touch upon the reason and why the World Jewish Congress decided to come to Zagreb in May, long before the terrorist attacks against Israel, the Croatian presidency of the IRA. Our presidency of the IRA overarching theme, the future of remembrance, acknowledges that we are currently at a cusp. Our generation is the last to have the opportunity to meet the survivors and witnesses of the Shoah. When we started our presidency of IRA, we challenged ourselves to think about what Holocaust remembrance will look like 10 or 20 years from now. We considered the worst-case scenario, which is already happening today, and that is that the world has learned nothing and that pogroms against Jews continue happening. The other scenario is that the future of Holocaust remembrance will become a lesson in ethics. All of us have the ability to be upstanders or bystanders, victims or perpetrators, and survivors in any given situation, just like during the Holocaust. Human nature has not changed much in the course of the last 80 years. Our role as leaders and upstanders is to speak to the bystanders and change their perspective. We will continue doing so regardless of current and future challenges. We began our presidency on February 28th of this year by saying that as the last survivors leave us, the whole world will have to decide what the future of global Holocaust remembrance, education, and research will be without them. The survivors volunteered to be our teachers. They were guides in our museums. They were passionate storytellers, and they authenticated the most documented genocide in the world. On this occasion, while the survivors are still alive and taking action, it is our responsibility to echo and amplify their voices. We should do so in the hope that their resilience and their commitment to rebuild will reach the future perpetrators and the bystanders alike. We should do so in hope that their actions and testimonies will leave no one indifferent as to why we must always remember not to forget the Holocaust. We should continue to focus on the causes of the Holocaust and our responsibility to prevent similar crimes against Jews and against humanity from reoccurring. As you gather in Zagreb, I hope that you have the productive meetings in these challenging times. It is interesting to note that Croatian city of Vukovar was the first city of Holocaust to have basically gone through a total destruction in the time of our homeland war in 1991. And this is important for you to understand that we know what is the right to defend, what is the right to security, and also what is the right eventually to establish peace and tolerance. Therefore, we are proud of the achievements of the IRA presidency so far, and especially in that context with our partnership with the World Jewish Congress. I look forward to cooperate with you again, to see you either in Zagreb or in other capitals in Israel or in New York. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Croatia, and thank you for coming.